Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible. Who you do business with is more important than where they're located. Bank from the comfort of your own home with Emprise Bank. Coming up, the latest episode of the KC Laboratory Podcast with Ken Swanson, Craig Stout, and Matt Lane. Coming to you on the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. You can find all of our channels covering all the local teams wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube. Just search KCSN. And now, the latest episode of the KC Laboratory.
It's a live edition of the KC Laboratory presented by Emprise Bank, member FDIC. Matthew Lane. This time, 2 weeks from now, you and I and someone else on this stream right now are going to be on air breaking down the NFL draft. Who's off the board 1 hour in? Go.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
What's fine?
No, I want to answer. I don't understand the question. Who's off the board in 1 hour?
Four quarterbacks are off the board.
Who's off the board 1 hour into the draft this time next 2 weeks from now?
Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Christian Gonzalez.
That's all we're getting in the first hour is 4 picks?
You just said 4 picks. Now I'm getting yelled at for 4 picks. You know, I'm leaving.
I didn't say 4 picks. Craig
Bye,
said
Maddie.
4 picks.
Tyree Wilson,
There you go.
who's after the Falcons.
Devin Witherspoon.
Not the Falcons, but the
Devin
Seahawks.
Witherspoon.
Lions, Devin Witherspoon's going. After the Lions, Raiders, Jalen Carter. After the Raiders, the Falcons, Will Anderson. 9. I'm drawing a blank on who is 9. I don't know who's 9, so this is the end of it. You get 8.
I like that we're not gonna help
on.
Maddie at all. We're just gonna let him struggle.
I know who's 10. I'm just blanking on who's 9 currently. So
I'm gonna let you flail. We're gonna introduce Craig Stout. Hi, Craig.
Hi
Keon
guys.
White.
No, Keon White will not be gone by this point. However, he is coming to night 1 of the draft, and we'll see about night 2. I don't know. You know, a guy that
can we talk about that?
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit
Let's talk
about
about
that.
Keon White, the defensive end out of Georgia Tech, is one of the 17 players invited to the NFL
I'm
draft.
going to read the list. I
Okay.
want to read the list.
Okay.
Jordan Addison, Will Anderson, Brian Branch, Jalen Carter, Zay Flowers, Christian Gonzalez, Paris Johnson Jr., Will Levis, Joey Porter Jr., Anthony Richardson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, CJ Stroud, Tyree Wilson, Devin Witherspoon, Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, and then Keon White. Tell me which one of those names doesn't belong in that list.
Bryce
well,
Young is short. He's under 6 feet tall. I guess the
And
receivers
Devin
are-
Witherspoon are like the same height.
I was gonna
You know,
say.
it's okay.
I was gonna say. Zay Flowers is in there, and he's shorter than both of them. So that's it can't be that. Yeah, that's a very interesting group of people. I think you've seen pretty much every single one of those individuals routinely mocked in the first round of the NFL draft, and then Keon White. So we'll be curious to see big, long dude, checks every box as far as Spags' thresholds go. He's an athlete as well. Be very, very interesting. As you can see on the
Chase
screen
Bryce
right now,
will not go in the top 10, by the way.
Chase Price will not go in the top 10. As you can see right now, we have super chats activated for the live labs for KCSN here. We're going to use them in some different ways going forwards here and there. So there's an icon in the comment section that folks can interact with while they're talking to others. So, if you throw a little money out there, your comment's going to make it up here on the screen, and we will definitely talk about it. Kent, Chase Bryce, I need you to talk about him right now because our good pal Tucker wants us to.
I'm glad because I love Chase Bryce. He was one of my favorite interviews at the East West Shrine Bowl. He's a guy that kind of knows what he is. He kind of, he has kind of an understanding of his opportunities in the NFL is probably not going to be jumping in and starting in the NFL. He did not make the draft guide, but I'm a big fan of him, the person. I don't know if he's going to find an NFL roster, but he was more than willing to be a clipboard holder, in his words, in Kansas City. So thanks everybody that's hanging out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are going to look at the state of the Chiefs linebacker and tight ends rooms using the Andy Reid cheeseburger scale of greatness that we've been using. This is the last episode that we're going to be doing that, because next week, lots and lots of very, very draft intensive
What's
content.
the cheeseburger scale?
Why don't you explain, Matthew?
Oh, I have to? Okay.
I don't want to.
You guys probably should have this down by now, but I'll explain it for Craig just in case. He's getting up there in age.
Thank you.
Memory goes.
I've really my short-term memory is gone.
So, or long-term. We've been doing this for a while. So if a Chiefs positional room is very, very bad, well below average, it needs replacement right here and now to even get on the field, that's a McDonald's burger. If it's a Chiefs wide receiver room, it's a deconstructed McDonald's burger, but that's for a different case. Now, if they're just below average, as in they could use a little bit of help, that's straight to Whataburger. Okay. You're getting there's something there, but it's not great. If it's, according to Kent, it's terrible. If it's an above average positional room, as in they can go field the team right now, they can go play and do well. We are going to the Westport Flea Market. Grayson Jasper says Craig is great in the super chat. If you guys want to make us read these to Craig, I say Craig is great, you got to do it just like Grayson did. It's perfect. Finally, town topic means it's an elite group. He did this right in the middle of the cheeseburger scale, so now we're all confused.
I hate super chats already, you guys.
I would. Okay. Craig, we'll I got some questions for you later. We'll get there. Anyways, was that the rest of the cheeseburger scale? Are you done?
Yes, he hit it.
Perfect.
I got there. I don't know if anyone paid attention, including me.
Town Topic is the top burger that you can possibly get on the Andy Reid cheeseburger scale. That is according to Andy Reid, and I have a feeling we might be using that tonight. We are going to start with the linebacker room, the state of the roster at the linebacker position in the Andy Reid cheeseburger scale is what, Matthew?
The linebacker, you know what? We're gonna go town topic with the linebacker room. I debated it because here's the thing. I think you're missing the punch. You're missing the main course. Like the cheeseburger isn't the star of this. This is like a whole meal. The cheeseburger isn't the star of the linebacker room because I don't think they have a star. They don't have a 3-down linebacker that dominates against the run, against the pass, early, late down, so on and so forth. But what they do have is a collection of solid to really good linebackers that all do things very well. I think the addition of Drew Tranquill takes them from where I would definitely go with the Westport Flea Market, bumps them into that town topic range, just simply because I think he gives you what they're missing: reliability and coverage. He gives you a guy that is a good coverage linebacker, both in zone, can man up a little bit. So it's like going to town topic, and I don't know if they do this, not from Kansas City. It's like getting sliders at town topic. You have 4 little burgers that are all slightly different, but all give you a little bit of what you want to produce a whole entire meal. That's the linebacker room.
I'm going town topic as well. I think that you've got enough pieces to make this amongst the NFL's best. I really do. The Chiefs have certainly invested plenty in the linebacker position. You've got 3 day 3 picks, and now they added Drew Tranquill, who looks to be your dime linebacker as well. That dime linebacker position was the last remaining bit for me. Nick Bolton makes big splash plays on early downs. He absolutely does. Fantastic early down player. We've seen Willie Gay Jr. make some splash plays as well in coverage and creating some negative plays behind the line of scrimmage. And we've seen Leo Chanel stack, shed, be a force against the run when he's been asked to throughout his rookie season. The thing that they were lacking was a guy that they could put on the field and trust to not only align everybody in the dime, but also really do a good job covering people. And Drew Tranquill is going to be that guy. I think he was the final piece of the puzzle. Yes, I'm with Maddie. They don't have one guy that they can trust to do every single one of those elements, but that's fine. You're going to be able to swap Nick Bolton out, put Drew Tranquill in the dime. You are going to have a much more effective dime linebacker in that scenario as well. The entire defense is going to be good at the second level, no matter whether you're in base, nickel, or dime. And that, to me, screams town topic.
Boy, howdy.
Sliders, baby.
Is that it's a town topic, and town topic does not do sliders, Matthew.
They do now for the linebacker room.
They do a quality burger, though. And this is a very quality room.
4 separate ones.
I think what's cool is, when we've kind of gone through this exercise, we've talked about some positions with the upside and citing the upside as reasons to be optimistic about putting them in certain tiers. And we didn't even spend too much time talking about the upside that still exists within this room. Because Leo Chanel put together his best game as a professional in the Super Bowl. As a blitzer, chasing them from the backside of the play, slipping into a gap and making plays, force at the line of scrimmage, changing the line of scrimmage. And I look, I know he got mossed technically, if you will. The coverage was outstanding.
I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad at all. A better throw might have been an incompletion. Like, he was right there in coverage, quick play identification, showed the athleticism. People don't realize how good of an athlete Leo Chanel is. You probably do after you saw him jump up onto the bus after the parade. But that dude is an absolute just freak of nature athlete, where I think the arrow's pointing up for him. So you've got 4 quality linebackers in a room that can, like, to Craig's point, mix and match, do different things here and there. It's just it's a great room. And you're right, it maybe doesn't have the punching power of an elite player. So I think it makes it all the more impressive that it is a bona fide slider-free town topic hamburger.
No, that's sliders. 100% sliders.
No. I'm sorry.
One with cheese, one with some onions. Maybe one has, I don't know, like caramelized onions, some Swiss cheese on a different kind of bread.
Oh, hang on. Let's hear him out here, Kent.
Different little sliders. They all do just a little bit of different things to present you one great burger.
I was with Kent, but then Maddie started going into the different burgers, and I got a lot more excited about the sliders.
Yes,
not Patty Melt.
Oh, I
don't
love
think
it.
Bearcat's here.
I wish he was. Guys, just so you know, Patty Melt is a cheeseburger. It's inarguable, and anybody that would say otherwise is insane or went to Northwest Missouri State. Have you guys been to Town Topic before? Do we need to get you to Town Topic while you're in town? We might have to do that because it's downtown.
I have not been. Here's the thing, though. I come back to Kansas City, unfortunately, infrequently enough that I probably am not doing a cheeseburger when I'm back. I got a lot of barbecue stops. I got a couple local favorites that I've already missed while not there. If I was back more frequently, sure. But in the meantime, like, it would have to be during a long trip and something like that. It's like, I don't know. No shade at them. It's not anything with Town Topic. It's just, I got a lot of barbecue to eat. I can't get it out here. It's fake.
Craig,
fraudulent.
Yeah, I've been.
Okay. Do you consider it to be where we sit it? Because I would argue Westport Flea Market. We're going off of Andy's rankings, and that's fine. But I'm a Westport Flea guy.
I will say that when I eat a burger in Kansas City, it's typically Westport Flea Market. Personally, but again, it's
Tay's Burger Shack. We don't even have them on the list.
Tay's Burger Shack. Tay's Burger Shack should be on there.
I concur.
There was one in Overland Park, and it was exceptional. I'm hungry. I need to take a bite to eat. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Yeah.
Whether you're a Chiefs, Royals, Sporting KC, KC Current, K-State, KU, or Mizzou fan, we've got you covered. Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
Folks, I got to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Athletic Greens. I've been taking AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and I gave it a try because I wanted to get that better gut health. I wanted to have the sustained energy. You got to support the immune system, especially this time of the year. And I hated taking all those pills and vitamins to actually get all those supplements, and it tastes great as well. I take it in the morning before I start my day, before I make that cup of coffee, and it makes me feel ready to take on everything that we've got going on here at KCSN. And you know, all great athletes take care of their body. I'm not the same kind of athlete as Patrick Mahomes, but I still like to take care of my body. And that's when I've been going to AG1. That's why I'm a huge fan. You get all that nutrition in just one little cup. It's great for long-term gut health support as well, with 75 high-quality ingredients that give me key daily nutrients. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/KCSN. That's athleticgreens.com/KCSN. Check it out.
entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching. The super chat is alive and well now here on the KCSN channel while we're doing these live shows. Feel free to drop one of those as well. Appreciate everybody that is hanging out with us today. So we have assessed the linebacker position. We believe it to be top tier. Half of that linebacking core that has it so excited about it being a top tier is gone next year. 2 of the 4 linebackers we just talked about are on essentially 1-year deals. Willie Gay's in the last year of his rookie contract. Drew Tranquill is on a 1-year deal. And if he plays as well as we think he will, he might be a little bit more difficult to sign. So we look probably no free agency moves. Do we think the Chiefs address the linebacker position in the draft, Matthew?
No, not in a pick that really matters. I think they're set 4 deep. Unless we anticipate Willie Gay not being on the roster when it's time for the season to start, they're already 4 deep. It seems like they're pretty set there. They don't dislike Jack Cochran. Seeming they kept him around. He played on special teams. Like, they feel like they're pretty set there. Maybe you take a swing on day 3 again and try to find another Cochran level guy that you can use on special teams in a tight spot. But I feel like they're pretty set across the board. I don't want to say, with Drew Tranquill, I hope they bring him back. That's the one deal I wish it wasn't a 1-year deal, right? And maybe that was his choice. Maybe he was like, hey, the linebacker market's kind of not good right now. Maybe if I go have another really good year, I'll get paid more. So maybe it wasn't the Chiefs' choice. Maybe it was his, and his price honestly should go up for what he does. If he's good in coverage, you get paid more at the linebacker position. So maybe he is a little more expensive. I don't think you're going to be pushing, though, top 10 linebacker money with him. So I do hope he's back going forward. And that would be my priority at linebacker, not necessarily drafting someone in the top 100, top 150. It would be already starting to try to see how you get Tranquill under contract going forward. I think he and Nick Bolton are a really good 1-2. And then you kind of funnel guys in around them. You have Leo Chanel for at least 2 more years after this one. That's still a solid linebacker group.
Matty, I got a question for you. Who's the Chiefs GM? What's his name?
Brett Veach. His name's
okay.
Brett Veach.
What does Brett Veach do every single year? He drafts an early linebacker. Now,
4 of the 5 drafts he's had, Brett Veach has taken a linebacker in the top 100.
It's true.
Starting with Dorian O'Daniel.
It's true. So we can look back on some of these deals and say, oh, they don't need another guy. They didn't need another guy last year. And what did they do? They went out and they signed Leo Chanel. Now, I know.
Didn't they need one? Didn't they need a third linebacker though?
Yeah, I mean,
okay, but we're talking the difference between a third linebacker who does play some and a fifth linebacker right now that doesn't play some.
Correct.
So that's where I'm coming from with it.
No, I don't disagree. And the fact that they made an FA move screams that they're not going to take another early one. Cut to Friday night when they take another one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that the value would have to be exceptionally good for the Chiefs to take it. Like a guy that has absolutely no business being where they're picking. The rest of the board is not great. And then in that instance, to Kent's point, they're looking at it from the perspective of next year, we're going to deal with this next year. And maybe they try and pawn one of these guys off, make a trade before the season. If they look at a guy and they go, hey, listen, Drew Tranquill's farther along than we expected. We were going to plan on bringing him back anyway. So we're going to say, what can we get for Willie? Play the rookie. We'll see kind of the way that this shakes out. I do think that it's going to have to be absolutely exceptional value for the Chiefs to gamble on a guy outside of maybe late day 3 before, they could really take a look at this position.
I think it's a day 3 move if they're going to do it at all. I'd be kind of surprised with some of the other more pressing positions that they have if they go out and do that outside of day 3, and it could be a 7th round pick. I think one of their top 30 visits, I believe, was Jeremy Banks, the linebacker out of Tennessee. So, that's a guy that makes sense as a guy that can potentially play a little bit in coverage. He's got special teams ability as well. That's a day 3 kind of flyer right there. So, I think if they're doing it at all, you're probably taking the Jack Cochran roster spot. I doubt they carry 6 linebackers, and he better be a special teams player. So that's probably the requisite That's probably what it's going to be required to be drafted by the Chiefs there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching. Appreciate everybody that is hanging out with us right now. That is the linebacker position. Let us move on to the tight end position. On the Andy Reid cheeseburger scale, Matthew Lane, what is the tight end position?
Can you read off the Chiefs tight ends for me, Kent?
Sure. We have Town Topic. I'm just kidding. Yes, we have Travis Kelce. Do I need to just
okay, that's enough for me. Town Topic it is. The Chief Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the game. He
So
is your
predictable.
perennial player to watch every single week when we talk about the Chiefs in the offseason. He is the non-Mahomes player that is going to win them the game. Nothing has changed. Nothing will change. He is the Town Topic. And yes, Noah Gray and Jody Fortson and Blake Bell and Tucker's guy, Matt Bushman, are also in there that round out to give you some depth. I think they do need a backup. They need a better side dish. They need a new fry. They need a Cajun fry, something with a little bit more pizzazz than what they currently have right now. But it's still Town Topic cheeseburger off the top because Travis Kelce is there and he's just the best to ever do it.
Yeah. When we talked about the quarterback position, which was obviously a Town Topic, we kind of focused on the backups and do the Chiefs need to add another backup to make it better and all that. Frankly, the Chiefs can walk into this season with their backup tight end room, and we are all extremely comfortable with it. Blake Bell as a good inline blocker. Noah Gray has gotten more involved in the inline blocking, but also on the move, and he's good for like a third down or a second down conversion along the way every single game. It looks like maybe like a 7-yard catch that just moves the sticks. It's quality.
Craig, we call that the over.
Oh, we do call that the over. You're
call
right.
That the Noah Gray over is what
Shout
we
out to
call that.
Benny and the bets for that one. But that's good. And then Jody Fortson. Jody Fortson is really fired up to get in this season. Done a lot of interviews recently where he just feels like, listen, I want to be a bigger part of this offense. I want to be better down there working with Mahomes right now to get better. I mean, this group is good. Like this is a good tight end group. Yeah, you maybe don't have a superstar tight end too, but that group of guys behind it is more than good enough, coupled with the best tight end to ever do it playing with them. I mean, yeah, easy Town Topic.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they've got the literal best player. The best tight end in Chiefs history. Possibly the best tight end in the history of the National Football League when it's
not possibly is.
Okay. And then like I like the pieces that they've maintained. Blake Bell's really high quality blocker still. Noah Gray has really come into his own the last couple of years, continue to get a little bit better and better. Flashed some moments last year. Honestly, I thought there was some higher level moments for him. I think, he had a nice little stretch going for a little while. And then Jody Fortson, like he's a fine piece to have on your roster. Like I know there's a lot of people that get really, really excited about Jody Fortson. He have 13 catches in his NFL career. He's still a really high quality red zone target when he's healthy. There's a lot of qualities that he brings to the table too. So to have a guy hanging around on the roster as a tight end 3-4, that's impressive. That's an impressive group when you're getting down that far into the depth chart and you're getting to a guy like that. But the funny thing is, we were doing this exercise last night. We were breaking down potential scenarios for the Chiefs in the first round. Tight end kept popping up. We're going to talk about that and the rest of the tight end class right after this.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? This is BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. With Kansas City on full display for the NFL Draft, what better way to celebrate our hometown than by supporting a charity that helps kids with special needs in our own backyard? Children's Center for the Visually Impaired will host the CCVI Trolley Run Sunday, April 30th to change the lives of students who are blind or have low vision. Now in its 35th year, the CCVI Trolley Run is a 4-mile race that finishes on the Country Club Plaza the Sunday after the NFL Draft. This fundraiser is open to everyone and no athletic ability is required. Enjoy free beer after the race and snacks from local restaurants. We promise the KC community will be on full display. Visit trolleyrun.org and use code KCSN to get a few extra bucks off your registration. That's trolleyrun.org.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching. Appreciate everybody hanging out. So we've been playing around with a bunch of scenarios for the Chiefs at the end of the first round. And there are some scenarios where maybe one of the players that you're kind of looking at you really like doesn't fall. Shout out our guy Eric Gallico. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Thanks.
He only watches for the transitions. He skips the rest of just.
I get it.
Listen, man. To be fair, that's the only time I listen to Kent too, Maddie.
I know.
That checks out. But anyways, so like we're playing through scenarios, and I mean, if the Chiefs went and grabbed a tight end at the end of the first round, even though this is a town topic position, this is a high tier position, even though they've got some quality pieces in the room, long term, short term, it still makes sense to potentially add one if the board falls to a certain way.
So I think there's a couple different ways to approach this. And I think like the big one, the elephant in the room is like, how much longer is Travis Kelce going to play? Right. Like there's not like rumors that you think that he's about to retire or anything, but when you listen to him talk, it sounds like his body is beat up. He talks about how grueling the NFL season is on him anymore, how much time he has to spend, in the recovery room and doing all these different things to get his body right. I mean, I think he said he's had like 9 surgeries since he's been playing in the NFL. That's a lot. That's a lot. So he is getting older. He's getting beat up a lot. I don't think that the end is necessarily coming right now or this next year, but it would sure be nice to have an option to limit how much punishment he has to take, to limit how much you put on the Travis Kelce plate, which, hey, by the way, in case you missed a wide receiver episode, it's a deconstructed McDonald's cheeseburger. That means there's a lot on Travis Kelce's town topic plate right now. He's got to do a lot of heavy lifting. I like Noah Gray as a depth tight end. I like Jody Fortson as a specialized role tight end. Blake Bell, same thing. They don't even have like a complete number 2 tight end that you're like, okay, Kelce's off this play. Our offense doesn't have to change at all. When Kelce's off the field, the entire offense has to change because you no longer have the one part of the offense that is consistent, that always works for Patrick Mahomes. So that part being said, yeah, it doesn't hurt to start to look to the future, getting an improvement on Noah Gray. Not that he's bad, just an actual backup tight end that can do the same things Kelce does, but also looking forward to replacing him in the future. Tight ends take 2 to 3 years to get going in the NFL. It's a very slow position to develop. It's not a bad idea to add him early, especially in a relatively quality tight end class, so you can maybe prolong Kelce's career and get a talented player that's going to help you in the meantime in certain situations.
And I mean, that's kind of where Kent was going with some of the conversation. As you start shifting through mock drafts, there are scenarios where there are big runs on offensive tackle, big runs on wide receiver, big runs on edge, and those positions that we have traditionally kind of classified as these are the ones that the Chiefs are targeting could be all dried up. You might be, kind of picking the bottom of the barrel in round 1 there. And that's not something that Brett Veach likes to do. He doesn't like to be locked in. They like to take best player available. In a really good tight end class, if you told me that the tight ends slipped, if Michael Mayer slipped to the bottom of the first round and all these other positions are gone, I don't necessarily see tight end as a big need for the Chiefs, but that is a guy that you could add to the roster that's a really good football player, makes your offense better, frees Travis Kelce up to essentially be your wide receiver 1, play more on the outside where he's not having to get beat up, running through the traffic, playing as an inline blocker, doing all the things that normal tight ends do. You can have Mayer do that, and Mayer is a quality pass catcher as well. So you're not, really taking a huge step back there either. You can run 12 personnel that's basically 11 with Travis Kelce as your X wide receiver. We talked a lot about that last year before the Chiefs made some of the wide receiver moves that they did. I could see it happening again, and that's a good way to maybe protect Travis Kelce a little bit. You've got a healthy, a good rounded out tight end room. Bringing Michael Mayer in, or maybe some other guys. I don't want to take everybody here, but it actually can make some sense if the board falls in that sort of way.
The thing about the tight end class is I think it's a really deep group. Like there's some intriguing talents. We're not even just talking about the round 1 guys when it's all said and done, but I think the potential for the Chiefs to take a tight end starts in round 1. I think it starts if they sit at 31 and they're not moving up for a receiver or something like that. If they're sitting at 31, value could be the tight end position. And there's every flavor of tight end that you could possibly want. there's probably be at least one off the board by the time the Chiefs are picking. We'll call it Dalton Kincaid. He seems like the guy that is getting the most love right now. But if a Michael Mayer is there, I mean, that's like you said, Travis Kelce may never or rarely have to inline ever again. The less Travis Kelce has to inline, the better. I mean,
we talk about making Mahomes happy. You want to make Travis Kelce happy,
right?
Don't put him in line anymore.
Seriously, or Darnell Washington. He's probably not. He's not the biggest fit of all these guys we're about to talk to, but like he is a freak blocker. He's a big target in the red zone. He's a seam runner. He's guaranteed that Travis Kelce will never put his hand in the dirt again.
So would be like combining Blake Bell and Jody Fortson into the same guy, right? Like, I mean, like that's what you would end up having. It's just kind of what you were alluding to. Yeah, maybe. But like the thing, when you watch him play, he doesn't look like the athlete he tested at the combine on the field. I refuse to say that he looks that athletic on the field. He looks very heavy-footed, very lumbering. Now, I'm pretty sure he wore the knee braces because he did so much inline blocking. I don't know if that was a college mandated thing.
They required all offensive linemen to wear.
Right. And so like, I don't know if the disconnect was there, but he definitely just didn't look like that level of athletes. Like Darnell Washington is the one guy I'm kind of like, I don't know if I see that one because yes, it keeps Kelce off in line, but does he help the passing game at all? I don't know. So we mentioned Mayer. Luke Musgrave would be the other guy to me that makes sense because he can inline block a little bit. He's not as good as Michael Mayer, don't get me wrong, but he can do the things Kelce does. He can take those reps in line and be fine. And then he can go split out wide and run across the middle of the field and get hit, things like that. So those are the two guys in the early rounds that I would be keeping my eye on for the Chiefs. Oh, we got another one. Craig, buddy. You are great.
I'm going to see that individual this weekend, and he's not going to be happy about that comment.
Anyways, so yeah, you see round one, but I mean, I think as deep as the tight end class is, I would not be stunned in the slightest to see the Chiefs take a top 100 tight end with one of their 3 picks, depending on how the board falls. Like there's some interesting guys up and down this board that I mean would make plenty of sense to be added into this group. So Maddie, do you want to give one of your favorite day 2, day 3 type tight ends?
Oh, for sure. Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State. I have him in the second group of tight ends with your Sam Laportas, your Luke Schoonmakers, and like anybody else you want to put in that next group. He, for me, is right there, and he's at the top of that list for me because same thing. I like what he can do as an inline blocker. I like what he does out in space. Maybe the ceiling isn't as high as some of the top guys, and that's why he's down a tier, but I think he comes in and immediately gives you like the dual threat ability that you're hunting for in a tight end. That's the big thing is I like the tight end position. It's one of my favorites, and I certainly get the need for all different types. The guys, though, that can threaten as a pass catcher and a blocker mean a lot more to me than guys that specialize in just one or the other. It sounds funny being, a Travis Kelce fan and a Chiefs fan where he pretty much is a receiver, but during the stretch of his career, he got better as a blocker to where he was like fine. So like anyway, just Tucker Kraft is a guy I like because he does present that. He has that dual threat ability, and I don't think that many tight ends in this class actually do that. They all specialize in one thing or another, which is useful. Just I like his ability to do both.
Craig, you got any guys?
Yeah, I do. Speaking of that same light, a guy that we saw at the East-West Shrine game, Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan. Another guy that I think is very high IQ player, so able to maybe get on the field a little bit quicker than some other guys that maybe require some development. I like the way that he, the angles that he takes when he's run blocking. I think that he's very good, very smart. Michigan used him a lot as an inline blocker, so you can bring him in, have him play your Y. But I really like the way that he sinks into zone coverages. We talk all the time about how good Travis Kelce is manipulating zone coverages, finding those spaces and getting open. I think you're going to see a similar sort of deal for Schoonmaker, especially if you've got Travis Kelce drawing so much focus. You've got another wide receiver. If they, Kadarius Toney's having a big game, or MVS is having a big game, or somebody like that is having a bigger game, and the defense shifts a little bit, you've got another guy that can beat zone coverage in the middle of the field while still using Travis Kelce as an X on the outside there. I know that's Galco's guy there, but I think he makes a ton of sense for Kansas City. I really do. I think that just because he's going to be able to play quickly, he's got that ability, as Maddie said, to be a dual threat guy, both in the run and in the pass. You're maybe not looking at that guy and saying, man, he's going to just be this superstar tight end. But my goodness, you've already got a superstar tight end. Raise the floor of your tight end to quite a bit. And that's a guy that you might be able to get like maybe at the end of day 2. And who knows, depending on how the board falls, I don't know where he's really going to go, but not going to require this massively high pick. And you can really improve your tight end room.
I think the guy I keep like if Schoonmaker's there at like 122, like
oh my goodness.
That's the one I keep paying attention to. It's like if he gets all the way down to 122, like you're living right. I'll just throw a guy that's not like I think the Y, like a more of a Y type is probably the better fit for this football team. I'll throw a non-Y out there. I'll throw Sam Laporta, who's he's a little bit of F. He can inline some. He can play as an H-back. But like watching him flexed out, I see a little bit of Mark Andrews to him, like a smaller Mark Andrews. Like there's some fluidity to him through his frame as a route runner where like I think he makes some pretty nice breaks at the top of his route. Natural hands catcher. I like his ability after the catch a little bit for a guy, and he's kind of got a little bit more dense, stockier build. He can do a little bit after for a decently athletic tight end. I mean, he moves pretty well after the catch as well. So he's kind of just an intriguing piece. Like I think Andy Reid would have a lot of fun with him. The Chiefs don't have a fullback on their roster. I think Laporta could play a little bit of that F. He could play the fullback a little bit. They could utilize him in a few different ways. He'd be kind of a unique add to this group. But I like Sam Laporta's game a lot. I think he might go a little earlier than I don't think he's there at 95. I'll just say that. For me, I don't think Sam Laporta is there at pick 95 for the Chiefs.
Sounds like he's picking up a lot of steam. Like not there at 63 picking up a lot of steam. Like not 50 picking up a lot of steam. So which is it surprises me. I don't quite see that. So that's surprising, but I mean, hopefully I like some of those other tight ends we talked about a little bit more so far. So like, I'm hoping Laporta gets pushed up there a lot.
I think there's really good value potentially in this draft. I could see the Chiefs with 2 4th-round picks. Like, I think this is one of those pockets that they could definitely play in, at the tight end position. Maybe there's a decent tight end there in the 4th round. Corey Gott says Craig is greater than great. That's true. Woo. Corey, that is a very good point. A patty melt is still a cheeseburger. That is going to do it for the KC Laboratory. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Someone get Town Topic on the slider game.